You're being nice right now. In this moment, somewhere in your mind, you're thinking about someone else's needs, someone else's feelings, someone else's priorities. Your brain has been conditioned over years, over decades, to put others first. And this beautiful trait, this capacity for kindness, for empathy, for giving, it's actually rewiring your brain in ways that keep you alone. Over the past 15 years, I've worked with thousands of people across the globe. Time and time again, I see the same pattern emerge. The kindest souls, the most generous hearts, sitting alone at night, wondering why they can't find true connection. These incredible individuals who would give their last dollar to a stranger, who remember every birthday, who drop everything to help a friend. They're trapped in a neurological loop that pushes away the very thing they desire most, genuine, reciprocal love. Let me share something fascinating about your brain chemistry right now. Every time you override your own needs to help someone else, your brain releases a small hit of serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's like a tiny reward telling you, good job, keep going. But here's the kicker. Your brain is literally becoming addicted to giving, to sacrificing, to putting yourself last. You're building neural pathways that associate love with self-denial. I've seen this exact pattern in brain scans. The neural networks of habitually nice people light up like Christmas trees in response to others' needs, but barely flicker when it comes to their own desires. This isn't random. It's a programmed pattern of behavior that's literally encoded in your biology. And today, we're going to change that pattern at the level of your brain, your genes, and your energy field. Your brain is running a program right now. It's a sophisticated sequence of neural firing patterns that you've been perfecting since childhood. When you see someone in need, your anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain responsible for emotional processing, lights up like a supernova. It's instant, it's automatic, and it's exhausting your nervous system. Here's what's really happening. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, your brain releases a cocktail of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. But instead of experiencing this as stress, your brain has learned to interpret it as virtue. You've literally conditioned your nervous system to associate stress with being a good person. It's fascinating. Your brain has created a reward system out of your own discomfort. Think about our ancestors for a moment. In tribal communities, being accepted meant survival. Being rejected meant death. Your people-pleasing isn't just a personality trait, it's an ancient survival mechanism encoded in your DNA. Your brain is constantly scanning for ways to make itself valuable to the tribe to ensure it won't be left behind. But here's the problem. You're running primitive survival software in a modern world. Let me share something remarkable from our research. When we studied the brain patterns of chronic people pleasers, we found something stunning. The same neural networks that activate during physical pain light up when they consider putting their own needs first. Your brain has literally equated self-care with danger. This isn't your fault. It's your brain doing exactly what it was programmed to do. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain has created what neuroscientists call a comfort zone in discomfort. When you're overextending yourself, saying yes to everything, feeling overwhelmed, that feels normal to your nervous system. It's what I call the familiar uncomfortable. Your brain has become so accustomed to operating in a state of self-sacrifice that it actually feels more threatening to rest, to receive, to be cared for by others. The cruel irony is that this very mechanism, this biological drive to be needed, is creating a force field around you that repels genuine connection. Every time you override your own needs, you are strengthening neural pathways that tell potential partners, I don't need you, I only need to be needed. Your brain has become masterful at giving, but it's literally forgotten how to receive. This is why meditation and conscious brain rewiring are so crucial. We're not just changing thoughts, we're literally restructuring the neural architecture that's keeping you locked in this pattern. Your brain has spent years perfecting the art of self-sacrifice. Now it's time to teach it the art of self-worth. Look back at your childhood for a moment. Remember those times when you learned that being good meant being quiet, being helpful, putting others first. Your young brain was taking notes, literally creating neural pathways that would shape your entire future. What you didn't realize then was that every time you suppressed your own needs to keep the peace, you were programming your brain for isolation. Let me tell you what happens in your brain when you consistently override your own desires. Your limbic system, the emotional center of your brain, creates a powerful association between love and self-denial. It's like your brain has written a formula. If I take care of everyone else, then I am worthy of love. But this formula has a fatal flaw. It teaches your nervous system that love must be earned through service. Here's something fascinating we've observed in our workshops. When nice people finally receive genuine love or care, their stress hormones actually spike. Their palms get sweaty, their heart rates increase, and their brains go into threat response mode. Why? Because their neural networks have no framework for receiving love without earning it first. The very thing they want most has become the thing their nervous system treats as a threat. You've become addicted to being needed. And I mean that literally. Every time someone depends on you, your brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in drug addiction. You've developed what neuroscientists call a helper's high. The problem is, like any addiction, you need bigger and bigger doses to feel okay. You take on more responsibilities, say yes to more requests, extend yourself further and further just to maintain that familiar sense of purpose. But here's where it gets really interesting. While you're building these neural networks of giving, you're simultaneously building networks of isolation. Your brain has become so efficient at anticipating others' needs that it's actually rewired itself to prevent deep connection. Think about it. When was the last time you let someone truly take care of you? When did you last share your real struggles, your genuine needs? Your brain has literally forgotten how to be vulnerable. This creates what I call the nice person's paradox. The more you give, the more people seem to need you, but the less they actually see you. Your neural networks have become so focused on others' needs that they've created a kind of invisibility cloak around your own humanity. People don't connect with your true self because you've trained your brain to only show them your useful self. The most profound revelation from our research is this: your brain is literally structured to maintain this isolation. Every time you ignore your own needs, you strengthen the neural pathways of self-neglect. Every time you push down your own desires to attend to others, you reinforce the programming that says your needs don't matter. Your brain has become incredibly efficient at maintaining your isolation while making you feel virtuous about it. Here's the amazing thing about neuroplasticity. These patterns can be rewired. Your brain can learn new ways of being, new patterns of relating. The same neural flexibility that got you into this pattern can get you out. But first, we need to understand that this isn't just about changing your behavior. It's about literally rewiring your brain's operating system. Right now, in your body, there is an intricate dance happening between your neurotransmitters. Your brain has mastered a biochemical routine that keeps you locked in patterns of giving while pushing away authentic connection. Let me explain what's really going on inside your nervous system. Every time you override your own needs to help someone else, your brain releases a complex cocktail of chemicals. First comes the cortisol, your stress hormone, because deep down, your body knows you're ignoring your own needs. But then, almost immediately, your brain counters with a hit of dopamine, the reward chemical, for being good. This creates what scientists call a biochemical override system. You're literally becoming addicted to your own stress response. Here's what makes this pattern so powerful. Your brain has learned to interpret stress as love. When someone needs you, your cortisol spikes, but instead of recognizing this as a warning sign, your brain has rewired itself to experience this as an opportunity for connection. It's like you're wearing biochemical glasses that make stress look like love. Let me share something remarkable we've observed in our research. When nice people encounter someone who doesn't need their help, who's completely self-sufficient, their brains actually show patterns of disinterest. Your neural networks have become so specialized in seeking out need that they literally can't recognize healthy connection as an opportunity for relationship. Think about your last relationship or close friendship. I bet there was a moment when things started feeling really good, when the other person started truly caring for you. And what happened? Your brain probably started sending out panic signals. Your palms got sweaty. Your heart started racing. And you began looking for ways to reestablish your role as the giver. This isn't random. It's your brain's biochemical safety mechanism kicking in. Your brain has created what I call the nice person's matrix, a complex web of neural pathways that equate being needed with being loved. But here's the problem. Being needed isn't the same as being loved. In fact, your brain has become so efficient at maintaining this matrix that it actively sabotages potential deep connections. Let me explain the biochemistry of why this happens. When someone offers you genuine care or love, your brain experiences a surge of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But because your neural pathways aren't used to receiving, this surge of oxytocin actually triggers your threat response system. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, lights up like a Christmas tree. Your brain literally treats genuine connection as a threat to your survival. Think about that for a moment. Your own biochemistry is working against your deepest desires.